You stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Sim Racing Media. We are live here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Weather looking a hell of a lot nicer here tonight than it does in real life. The North Wilkesboro Speedway for the WSRL, round number 4 of season 54. I'm Liam Irving, joined up in the booth by Mike Damani. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Can't wait to see what these guys can do on a short track. We had a pretty successful week last week when we were at the Nashville Super Speedway, but we switch it up, go short track racing this week.
Yeah, we saw some good short track racing to start this season off with IRP, and also we had I'm blanking. Was it just IRP?
I'll tell you. Give me a second.
No, we've had ourselves some pretty good. No, Iowa, I believe.
Yeah. IRP, Iowa, and then we went to Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah, so we've had ourselves a pretty good start to the season. A couple of short tracks before we head up to some bigger speedways. Get to see who can get it done at this kind of... It's not oddly shaped, Mike, but it is oddly angled. We're a little bit on a hill, so you'll be going down into turn 1 and up into turn number 3. That's definitely going to change up your braking points here.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it does have that fresh pavement, so these guys will be able to move around a little bit. 140 laps. Looks like they got 3 sets of tires, 3 green, white checkered attempts as usual. I think that fuel window is going to be kind of wide depending on how we run here. I think they probably can make it to about halfway without worrying about it, but it is short track racing, so I don't know that anybody's going to have to try and make it that far.
Yeah, it could definitely go either way, but Mike, wouldn't that be something to see green flag pit stops here at North Wilkesboro? This pit lane goes for almost half of the speedway. It's going to be a 35-mile-an-hour pit road, and we talk about it at a track like Bristol, but that's got the dual pit lanes. You've got to take this all the way around, and that could put you down at least 2 laps if you've got to make a stop under green.
Yeah, green flag pit stops. If you get caught there, you're gonna have a hard time catching back up. So we'll see what these guys do. Looks like we've got 20 drivers that have taken a qualifying lap right now. Scott Patton is on the pole after just 1 lap with a 20.03. So we'll see if that holds up here with about 5 or 6 drivers left to go if they elect to hit the track. But I don't believe they are, as we're about 30 seconds from into qualifying here.
Yeah, 20 drivers have put down a lap, meaning 7 drivers will not. And usually one of those drivers ends up staying in the pits, quite possibly to be race control. So I would say 26 is what we should have at the green flag once it comes our way, which will be very shortly, as we've got just a couple seconds here remaining in practice before these trucks get onto the starting grid.
Yeah, definitely. We saw it kind of play out last week, starting in the pits, avoided the catastrophe on the first lap, got the lap back and was able to make his way through the field. We'll see what happens this week. Looks like Justin Michael is back in the race this week. Trying to look here, and I'm not seeing Jacob Jensen here. He's Shane, but not Jacob.
Yeah, and that was kind of, we knew that would be a possibility tonight. We did get a message from Jake saying, hey, if I do race and I do finish up front, I'm not feeling well enough to be able to speak. So I know he's been kind of battling a little bit of being under the weather for the last week or so. So Jacob, if you are watching, definitely hope you feel better soon, and want to see you on track. But most importantly, want you to feel healthy.
Yeah, definitely. With that being the case, it looks like we're going to get a new short track winner, as Jacob Jensen did win both the short tracks to start the season. And as these guys get ready here, we're going to see if we can go ahead and roll down the grid. Scott Patton and Brian Barnes going to roll off P1 and 2. William Fletcher, Ryan Steele, row 2. Row 3 is going to go on back to Cody Matthews and Ricky Bozer. Row 4, Jeff Wills and Wayne Hutchinson. Harley Widener and Bob Beltrami going to start 9 and 10th coming out of row 5. Row 6, Earl Weaver and David Weaver. 13th is Julian Ricci with Todd Miles just to his outside. Barry Phil and John Kenyon saw a heck of a save by that number 88 machine last week. See what he can do this week. Alan Bergen and Shane Jensen going to row off in row number 9. Row 10, Justin, Michael, and Scott Heimer. Heath Smith and Mark Zabuk in 21st, 22nd. Row 12, Keith Kellman and Wayne Fleet. Dustin Burns and Ray Partridge going to start 25th and 26th. And Troy Campbell going to roll off shotgun on the field if he gets out.
It looks like Troy Campbell and Ray Partridge are going to stay on the pit lane this time, and Scott Heimer looks like he's going to start on the pit lane as well. So 24 on the grid right now, led by Scott Patton, name that we have not seen on the pole at all this year, and to be frank, not sure when we've seen him in a race this year, so good showing for him here. Brian Barnes to his outside, we saw him strong last year. Expect him to be very strong here at the start. William Fletcher, a good qualifying run out of him. Ryan Steele, Cody Matthews. Now, I tell you what, not only are we going to see a new short track winner, but I think we're going to see a lot of names that we haven't seen up front before. So pace truck makes a hard left turn. Green flag is in the air. We are rolling here in North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, Scott Patton got a good jump down on the inside as he just kind of rolled in front of Brian Barnes. We have a little bit of battle back here, William Fletcher and Ryan Steele.
Lead through lap number 1 here at North Wilkesboro. The 13 coming up off of the pit lane. That's Scott Heimer. He's going to come out a lap down already to the field.
Beltrami
Went
got
up
a
the
little
racetrack.
loose.
That's Bob Beltrami. Almost gets some contact from the 16, and expect to see more of this multi-groove racing. Oh, and around goes Weaver down the front straightaway. Earl Weaver spins it off of turn number 4. That's going to bring out the caution for the first time today. Looks like slight contact with the nose of that machine, and that's going to let Scott Heimer back onto the lead lap. As he started from the pit lane, Earl Weaver looked to have just gotten loose coming up off of turn number 4. Easy to do here on cold tires in the first few laps.
Yeah, cold tires, and we kind of had a chance to look at the weather there. And the track temp, bring it back up here once again, is 127 degrees. So cold tires, hot track, and that is what you get here. We'll go back and take a look here at Earl Weaver's spin down the front stretch here.
It looks like he was trying to keep it down to keep it off of David Weaver, and eventually when he got on the throttle, that thing just swung out on him.
Yeah, it looked like he was kind of, hesitating with everybody around him. As you saw everybody start to check up as they were kind of coming together off the corner. Bob Beltrami, and then you had David Weaver kind of get a little loose on that high side. He was off the brake and then back on it and back to the throttle and just spun around.
Well, first caution out here quick in North Wilkesboro. We're working lap number 6 out of 140. Scott Patton got the first couple of laps led over Brian Barnes. Fletcher and Steele was able to get a hold of 4th. Started in 4th, but got it secured. He got clear. Cody Matthews, Ricky Bozer. The top 6 is right where they started. Got to go back to Wayne Hutchison. Got around Jeff Wills.
And not too much movement really early on here.
Not for lack of trying, though. I mean, we've seen guys on the inside, on the outside, running just about anywhere they can. Looks like we're going to get a single file restart here. Scott Patton, Ryan Barnes, William Fletcher, Ryan Steele, and Cody Matthews in the top 5. Wait till they get to the zone, into the zone. Green flag is out. Patton gets away by a couple.
Yeah, single file restart definitely set it up here for Patton to get away. Like William Fletcher is going to have a rear bumper full of Ryan Steele as Steele tries to drive down to the inside to make that pass. Cody Matthews also trying to get by as Fletcher goes up to the wall.
Yeah, gets a little bit of run coming up off of the corner, but I can't imagine that's what he was looking for. This time it should be a more appealing run as he races that 10 of Cody Matthews to his inside. Just about got clear getting into turns 3 and 4, but slides up the racetrack once again in the middle, and that's going to allow the 10, who gets a little sideways, but allowed him to make up a couple of feet on the inside.
It looks like he gets a better run coming into the corner, but Fletcher just has that momentum coming off as he runs that higher line, kind of cuts down just a little bit, gets that momentum, and he's going to get clear here of Cody Matthews. Ricky Bozer trying to close in as well.
Scott Heimer making his season debut. Looks like he got loose off of turn number 2. Not down to the inside. He jumped straight to the pits, so no caution's going to come out there, but incident there for rookie Scott Heimer. Going to take him out of contention early.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be a little bit of kind of intimidating coming here to a short track with these guys, making your initial start, as most of these drivers know each other fairly well, and it looks like Todd Miles also jumped to the pits, maybe just pulled in there after having a few laps here.
Julian Ricci off the pace as well. He might be back up to speed, but he's a significant amount. He's actually about to go a lap down.
Yeah, he just went a lap down as Scott Patton got around him.
Not the best start there for the 97, but it's still early on. If you're going to have any problems, now's the best time to do it. Justin Michael working his way through the field. He's up to 13th. As the caution has come out once again, Barry Phil with a problem on the front straightaway. Look out! Barry's going to jump it back to the pits.
Let's take a look, see what happened.
Justin Michael, just as I was talking about him working up through the field, he's going to make contact with that 99, get him a little sideways, correct him with the front end, and, well, he just did a little too much there. That's terminal damage for the 99 of Barry Phil. You see that dark smoke pouring up the back.
Not much you can do there when you're trying to work your way through the field.
Well, Mike, I tell you what, I know Canadians have a stereotype of being nice, but you give one a hip check like that, and he's liable to throw down the gloves, throw down the stick, and maybe throw one or two at you.
Yeah, definitely.
Good thing we're on a racetrack and not a hockey rink, though. I think that was, necessarily intentional or anything on Justin Michael. Might have been a little early for a move like that, but we didn't see how they were racing before, and
yeah, it looks like it's just maybe a little impatience there by that 87, knowing he's faster on the track, which
we were literally just making note of. Justin Michael up to 13th, and Mark Zabik doing a pretty good job working his way up through the field. Wayne Fleet, Dustin Burns, all up 7 positions. A little bit of help from Julian Ritchie, Barry Phil, and Todd Miles. Losing a ton of spots. Earl Weaver as well from his first lap spin. But a good start to the race for these drivers nonetheless. And Dustin Burns is a guy who wants to get up to the front. We've seen him racing up the front in seasons past. A lot of traffic in front of him, a little bit to overcome, but long ways to go. Still 121 laps when we take the green flag here, Mike.
Yeah, stack back up. 2 by 2 they go. Ace truck is in. Got Patton rolls through the restart zone, and he is down and away. It's that good run off. Ryan Steele, though.
Oh, we got problems already. Big trouble. Bob Beltrami, Alan Bergen. Everybody shifting positions as... I'm not even sure who was there. Wayne Fleet, Mark Zabik.
Let's take a look. I thought
maybe... Mark some praise here.
I thought maybe
Something
Ryan
happened here on this
Steele
east.
was going to bounce off that inside a little bit as he was trying to cut that corner, but looked like it happened just behind him too. Oh, okay.
Man, another one off the bumper of Michael. Another two off the bumper of Michael. Nothing he could really do there. It looks like Beltrami might have spun the tires or something down on the inside and tried to get out of the way, but...
Yeah, take a look here. You'll see Bob, spin
yeah,
him, go down to the inside.
We'll check up on the outside as well, and Justin Michael just doesn't see it on both ends.
Yeah, the 16 of David Weaver. Watch him real quick as we go back. You'll see him move to the outside to avoid Beltrami, and he just gets into the rear bumper there of Charlie Widener as Widener gets checked up in front of him as well, and that causes the whole field to bunch up. Bergen nowhere to go as he runs into Fleet, so...
I'm not even sure if Weaver hit the back of Widener. He might have got it wound up in time, but Justin Michael just didn't have the time to react there. Gets into the back of him.
Yeah, it looked like that kind of started from further in front there as Beltrami spun the tires, and looked like maybe Ricky Bozer also had a little slow start, but
Yeah, I didn't see him get sideways as if he missed a shift, or as if he spun the tires. I wonder if he maybe missed a shift.
that could be.
Well, either way, we're going to get a single file restart this time.
.24 laps in.
Third caution of the race, the pace truck makes that hard left turn, and that Stone River 46 Chevy Silverado is going to take them down once again. Scott Patton has led every lap, will ride on board as he gets on the loud pedal. Green flag back out here in North Wilkesboro.
Another huge jump as they're stacked up back behind him as well. Widener, Justin Michael.
Under fire from Michael. Charlie Widener in front. Bob Beltrami, good recovery there on the inside of Jeff Wills. And up near the wall is that 28 of William Fletcher, trying to make everything he can on the widest lane of the racetrack. Mike, I haven't seen anybody that high on purpose.
No, I think he kind of got shuffled up to that high line, and he was kind of making it work with those first few laps because he had that better drive off, but looks like it's kind of going away here.
There. I would imagine this groove is going to work its way up as these tires wear down. Maybe that 28 is just trying to work it in a little bit sooner.
Well, he's going to have a few guys coming to his outside as well, as you see Charlie Widener up there. Justin Michael also in that high lane with John Kenyon following him through.
Beltrami now under fire from Michael. Widener trying to get to that back bumper of the 74 of Wills. Wills a little sideways coming up off of turn 4, and that's really easy to do here at North Wilkesboro. There's a little spot on the inside coming up off of turn 4. I know they did the repave, but there's a bump that can really upset the truck, and if you come over it already sideways, you're pretty near gone.
Yeah, you definitely have to pay a little bit of attention here.
You kind of see it there with the white line on the bottom of the racetrack. Next time we come up out of turn 4, you can see that white line. It's got kind of a point where it straightens out after a really hard curve, and that's where that bump is. There on the left.
Yep.
They fixed it a bit since the repave. It used to be a lot worse, but they kept some character. They kept some bumps in this racetrack, and it's definitely kept a lot of drivers happy. Not just have another flat, slick surface to run around on for a couple years before it gets character. Justin Michael up 10 spots, trying to make 11 with a run on Wills coming up off of turn number 2. These straightaways, Mike, they're so short. When you get a run coming up off of the corner, you don't have a lot of time to see that truck in front of you get bigger in your windshield.
Yeah, you don't. And as you saw there, Bob Beltrami a little bit quick on the throttle, so spun those tires, loses the position here to Charlie Widener. John Kenyon and Heath Smith starting to battle back and forth. Heath down on the inside, going to try and make that pass.
Yeah, Heath Smith back in the one this week. You've got to give a huge shout out to that Skull Banded paint scheme. He is looking great on the racetrack, both in terms of the paint scheme and in terms of how he's setting up this pass on John Kenyon. John gets a little bit loose. He's going to allow Heath to continue to drive through. That puts him up 9 spots after starting in the 21st position. That Skull Machine looking good.
Yeah, it definitely is. One driver I've noticed moving through the... Oh, Jeff Wills sideways through the infield.
Kind of an odd time for him to get sideways there in the middle of the corner. I wonder if there was potentially contact or if he got on the throttle too soon.
I'm not sure, but I was just going
to take a look at that as he's got Wade Fleet looking to his outside.
Let's see if we can bring it up real quick here.
Oh, yeah. Michael got into the back of him, and
that almost looks like
caution is out once again. And Keith Kelman looks to be the one involved this time around.
Yeah, it almost looked like Jeff Wills just kind of lost control, slid up the track, and almost wound up on his brakes, trying not to slide up the track. Let's see what happened to the 07 machine here of Keith Kelman.
Man, well, it's Michael again, so I noticed that right off the bat, but Kelman was so slow right there. Not sure what he was doing in the middle of the racetrack when he had so much time to get back down to the bottom. I feel like this is a good opportunity to jump to the bottom. He might have damage on that truck because you can tell with the left side wheel, he's turning it pretty hard to the left. See if he can't get on board with him there for that one. And it looked like he was turning that wheel pretty hard and it just didn't want to go. Yeah, I mean, that sucks. It's just that's a case of a truck that's not under full power that didn't seem to be physically able to get out of the way.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Justin
looked like
came on the radio and said, "I don't know why everybody has to slam on the brakes in the middle of the corner. I think that front bumper's feeling fatigued."
Yeah, he did have a couple of drivers almost just stop right in front of him. So,
well, it doesn't look too bad.
but no, it looked like Kelman kind of lost it on the backstretch, kind of bounced off that inside wall or on the outside wall, and then just didn't have the steering to get back to the track. Ryan Steele, massive restart after half the drivers came down pit lane. Brian Barnes in second with Wayne Hutchinson, Heath Smith, and William Fletcher.
Trouble. Charlie Widener goes around.
Sounded like there was a black flag as well. Looks like the black flag is going to be Dustin Burns, and Heimer also has a black flag. Let's take a look not on board.
Got Earl Weaver's down on the inside. You got Richie up on the outside, and Weaver just slides up the track. Kenyon, nowhere to go. Fleet, nowhere to go.
Yeah, and you saw Scott Patton back there as well, trying to work his way through after leading every lap until he came down pit lane. So with that, that will leave us just a few drivers who have not hit pit lane. That's going to be 6. Ryan Steele, Brian Barnes, Wayne Hutchinson, Heath Smith, William Fletcher, and Julian Ricci. Scott Patton is the first driver who did come down pit lane, and he's going to roll off in P7 here when we go back to Green Flag Racing.
Yeah, he's led every lap up until that last caution flag came out. Ryan Steele stayed out to take over the race lead. Had a good restart last time, and now he's going to have to do it again. However, he does have 5 cars between him and Scott Patton. Barnes moves up to the outside. I don't think he realizes it's going to be single file here. He looks like he's got it now.
Yeah, definitely want to start on the highest lane that you can.
Yes, because passing on the inside is not allowed. You can pass on the outside before the start-finish line, but you cannot move down to the inside. That's why at bigger tracks, if they do run single file, you'll see him get right up next to the wall. Not so much here because he won a good launch on exit. Green flag, and Steele gets away by a couple.
Yeah, Steele gets away by a couple. Got to watch out for the 04 that's halfway through the field. He's going to have to come down pit lane to take care of his black flag. So should be coming on the radio any moment, headed down pit lane, and he will do just that, as it looks like everybody's able to get around him there.
Yeah, that's a tough break for him. You know, obviously that caution came out, and you're wondering maybe why couldn't he just start tail end along his line? It's not how iRacing does its stuff here. Out of the inside goes Heath Smith, trying to take third away from Wayne Hutchison. He's got a good run through the middle of the corner, gets sideways coming up off, and he's going to hit the inside wall. Caution comes out. Oh, Julian Ricci into turn 1 goes around. Some right rear damage there. It looked like he got sideways, got into the wall, and got it back straight, but Heath Smith, racing for 3rd place, goes around off of turn number 4, hits the inside wall.
Nobody touched him, just got loose there.
It's easy to do down there on that bottom. I don't think it was that bump that I was talking about earlier. I think it was far enough up above it. That's where it's not going to be an issue. But let's take a look. John Kenyon right behind Julian Ricci. They get through the crash. Oh, man. So I'm thinking maybe Julian saw the yellow and immediately checked up. That half a second hesitation caused the 88 to make contact.
It definitely looked like that's kind of what happened there. We were down to, well, I'll say 3 cars that haven't hit pit lane, but Ryan Steele, Wayne Hutchinson are the drivers up front who have not come down pit lane. Looks like Heath Smith still hasn't come down pit lane even after being involved in that little spin there.
Well, they said 50 to 70. So if that is accurate, the guys who have already made a pit stop, they can't make it to the end. Something tells me with this being a short track and it generally being 80% fuel, that number might be a little bit skewed on the low side. So I'm curious, Mike, to see these guys are at 50 right now, which is what the advertised window was, or at least where it began.
Yeah, with how many...
Do the guys behind have to make another pit stop, or these guys trying to make it to halfway, so they only have to make one in its entirety?
Yeah,
I got questions.
I would say they're trying to make it to halfway, especially with all these caution laps. If they can at least make it to halfway, they should be good to make it to the end.
But how much of it is reliant on the cautions that these guys have had throughout the course of this race? We're just finishing up caution number 6 at lap 53. Going to be lap 54 as Ryan Steele gets up into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Steele gets away by a good 3-4 car lengths into 1. Don't look now. Scott Patton on fresh tires is right there on the bottom, taking away second.
Yeah, Scott Patton, Justin Michael also working his way through. So he goes to the inside of Hutchinson, almost touched there. The 17 Dr. Pepper machine tries to keep him down on the bottom lane. Cody Matthews, seeing all this, drives down to the inside, going to try and test his luck down there as well.
Working himself down on the inside. Cautions out once again. We've got William Fletcher, Dustin Burns, Alan Bergen, and Wayne Fleet involved in a conflict of sorts on this racetrack. Oh man, Fleet gets sideways, tries to come up the racetrack. Ah.
Well, at least like most of those crash notifications was just because they stopped on track, so.
Yeah, actually pretty good job by those guys being able to get it stopped, and that truck is coming all the way up the racetrack right into your path.
Yeah, definitely a good thing it happened more in the halfway through the field than towards the front.
Definitely, that would have been disastrous if that would have happened up front. I mean, everybody so far who's gotten loose coming up off a turn 4 like that has nosed it into the wall. Wayne Fleet's the first guy who's been able to prevent that. A little bit of overcorrection put him back up the racetrack, but he didn't hit anything until he got hit. Does that mean these drivers are learning?
Could
or
be.
is that just purely coincidental? It's a tough track, Mike. I mean, you're going uphill into one corner, downhill into the next. That creates a whole different number of weight shifts that you got to deal with compared to if you're at a flatter track like, you know, Gateway or even Bristol. It's not flat, but you know the straightaways are not up and downhill. I don't know. It's one of my favorite things about this track. I think it makes it incredibly unique compared to anywhere else that we run. And it gives you a whole new set of problems to deal with, especially coming up off of these corners as you go from that uphill to downhill. You know, you're going almost over a crest as the weight's shifting coming up from off of the corner.
Yeah, definitely gives you a new set of problems to look out for. Race recap here as we go to take the green flag. 59 of 140. Ryan still is the leader. 7 cautions for maybe 29 laps here as they get going.
Justin Michael looking up top, trying to get around Patton. Patton looking to the inside of Steele. Let's see if he dives it in into 3 and 4. He's going to try, but Steele cuts or closes the door. The caution is out again. William Fletcher and Wayne Fleet this time around. Fletcher's going to bring it straight to the garage. Same deal coming up off of the corner. Fleet, he just locks her up, comes to a stop. Might get the black flag for an illegal pit entry or exit there, but avoided the crash.
Yeah, Fletcher just started to get sideways. Ricci really had nowhere really to go. Just kind of helped him the rest of the way around.
What can you do? This is one of the most difficult short tracks in all of America, and these guys are really understanding why here tonight. Beltrami's going to get the free pass, get his lap back here.
Well, I was doing a little research on the stats here of the Western States Racing League on Tuesday nights. They've been to North Wilkesboro 3 times. Of those 3 times, they have had 9 cautions, 13 cautions, and 15 cautions.
Well, we're on 8 on lap 63. And I believe... I don't remember who was with me. It might have been you, but... There were 20 cautions, I believe, in Martinsville last year.
Yep, I remember that.
Oh, that was, I believe, directly related to a setup issue.
Yeah, I think
that was not found until competition because guys were just losing it when they would touch the brakes.
Yeah.
So either it was a setup issue or a lot of guys tried brake bias adjustments that didn't work pre-race and couldn't change it. Race truck's going to make that hard left turn. The 8th caution is complete here on lap number 65 when we take the green. Steele's going to get away by a couple, but Scott Patton stays strong. Oh, and around goes the 10 of Cody Matthews. Shane Jensen gets collected. And we're on number 9. Alan Bergen just got sandwiched between Shane Jensen and the inside wall.
Take a look here.
Oh man, Cody left a lot of top open. Shane gets into him.
Yeah, and then Jensen just stops.
Yeah, he spun the tires, wow. and that's what got him down in front of Allen. You hate that for Allen. He's in the free pass position. You know, this is honestly one of the best showings he's had. A lot of times he gets involved in something early or you know, something happens. Made it to the halfway point at this race and only be 1 lap down. I know it sounds like I'm giving him crap, but he's a dirt guy through and through. One of our boys up in the booth. But he loves this league and loves racing with them. Loves learning about, learning as much of the asphalt stuff as he can. Definitely got more of an advantage on the dirt track side of things.
Yeah, it definitely does. As they work their way through here, and Ryan Steele still has not came down pit lane.
He has not. Neither has Wayne Hutchison. Hutchison fell back to 4th. But Steele, that is very significant here. I mean, we were told 50 to 70 laps on the pit window. We've run 9 cautions here. I've got to believe that we've had 36 or so laps under the caution flag. So it's probably going to help him save maybe 15 to 20 laps. Plus, if the cautions are going to keep coming out willy-nilly like this, you've got pretty much free reign to pit whenever you want. Pace car makes that hard left turn once again. Ryan Steele going to try to get away from all the calamity that we've been seeing throughout the field today. Very tough racing conditions here, and well, tempers are starting to flare. Tensions are thick enough to be cut with a knife. Green flag back in the air. Steele gets away by 1 this time. Patton was on it.
Yeah, Patton was on it as he was the leader until he elected to come down pit lane. Justin Michael going to dive down to the inside, try and take P2 from Patton. Ryan Steele trying to drive away as they come back to the start-finish line.
That's a tough spot there for Michael. We've seen drivers get sideways there as Patton tries the outside now. He's going to get the nose there for just a moment. But now Justin Michael couldn't quite box him in. Here comes Patton down to the inside.
Yeah, Patton went from the outside down to the inside, got a massive run, and he has got that 46 nose out in front as he gets a little wiggle coming down the front stretch. Ryan Steele tries to hang on there. Justin Michael also trying to close in a 3-way battle here for the lead.
How incredible is this? Ryan Steele has not yet come in to change tires. He's holding that 46 down. The driver who led the first 50, or not 50, but the first roughly 38 laps of this race. Ryan Steele doing a great job keeping him down on the bottom, but it looks like this is something's going to have to give here. Especially with Michael coming up behind, trying to make something happen. He looks to the outside of Steele. Knows he can't quite make any space there, but he might be able to get enough of a run. Now he's going to try to put his nose up there.
Yeah, if Justin Michael can get that run coming off the corner, get his nose there, Ryan Steele's going to have almost no choice but to check up just a little bit as he has Scott Patton down to his inside. So side by side, pretty good action up front here as we're working through lap 75. You see Shane Jensen coming off the pit lane as well.
Yeah, I mean, he might be able to get his nose there coming up off of 2, but I definitely would not want to be there coming up off of 4. These guys have all of the racetrack to use, and they need it. You get somebody up on your outside like that, you're likely to have it coming together.
Yeah, you definitely will. As you see here, Ryan still trying to kind of pinch down the 46, and then he'll have to slide up to that outside wall to hold the 87, Justin Michael back behind him. So he's driving a little bit different, but he is holding it as Michael gets into that outside wall.
Yeah, he's tried a little bit of something, but look at this effort out of Ryan Steele. I cannot believe what he's doing. Last time he came into the pits was when they gridded up to start this race. Him, along with Wayne Hutchison, have yet to make a pit stop. Here's Richie up on the outside. That was almost a sketchy moment, but everybody gets to use up all the racetrack as Richie slows up to stay out of the way. Now clear is Ryan Steele. Patton going to try to set up another run coming up off of turn number 4, but Ryan Steele can breathe for a moment.
Yeah, Julian Ricci there elected to check out of it, go clear up to the wall, stay out of the way, let them run. Patton goes to the high side, going to try and tighten down that inside line of Ryan Steele. See if Steele can hold the bottom line as well as he's holding that outside lane.
It's going to be a tough ask. Look at the run out of the 46 up on the top side, and that's going to allow him to get through. He's being scored as the 20. Oh, a little bit loose. Gets Justin Michael up to his outside, trying to stay with Patton. He's being scored as the 20, but we're kind of rolling with what we see on screen. That Weaver guy, Earl Weaver, he's been the 46 for a long time, and I don't expect that to change.
Yeah, I definitely don't either. Justin Michael made that outside line work. Ryan Steele going to fade back into P3.
Things starting to get a little bit of a cycle to him now. We've got damaged cars throughout the course of this entire field, to be honest. I mean, what do you expect at a short track? And they're still competitive. This is a battle inside the top 10 with Heath Smith and John Kenyon. Both drivers have been up front ends. They're still within a couple tenths of the race leader.
Yeah, they're definitely working their way around the track. But with that being said, and everything kind of settling down a little bit here, we're going to take our...
Not quite, Mike. Oh, man, I was going to say Justin Michael. He's closing in on that back bumper to race lead.
Yeah, he was getting there.
I kind of want to see how this plays out before we go.
Okay.
He's getting a good run coming up off of turn 2 every time. Now it's down to a car length. We know how much of a formidable opponent Justin Michael can be from our early days of calling this series together. He was one of the best guys every time he'd show up. Could have been running for a championship if he was able to, show in and week out. But Justin Michael doing a pretty good job here as he's still trailing around that 0.3 of a second mark.
Yeah, he definitely is getting there. He's getting closer every lap. He just has to set it up. You kind of saw how...
Oh, we've got... Dustin Burns has got around, or Charlie Widener? Yeah, Charlie Widener is the... Not sure what it says about Dustin Burns here, but Charlie Widener is the reason for the yellow.
Let's see.
That's why it said that Dustin Burns had crashed.
Oh, let's see.
Probably going to see the same thing here at a Widener.
Yep.
Almost virtually in the same tire tracks. Well, everybody came into the pits this time, and I gotta say that's amazing news for Ryan Steele. Because he was able to put up that type of a fight to Scott Patton with 70-lap older tires. It's actually more like 40-lap older tires. My bad for the hyperbole, but still, it's an incredible job. And now that these guys are going to be on equal tires, going to have some cars to work through. Let's see what they got. A little shout out to Mark Zabek in the 8th position, up 14 spots from where he started this race. Haven't seen him before. Good to see him performing well, working his way up through the field. What better way to get to know your competitors than by driving right past them?
Definitely. It looks like we have 3 drivers that stayed out. Jeff Wills,
Brian
Barnes, Cody Matthews. Oh no, Cody Matthews came in.
Oh, he came in on that lap 67 caution after he got into the wall. Now he's going to be on about 20 lap older tires. And those might be 20 significant laps because a lot of those were green. Gonna get the green flag. The 10th caution completed here with 50 laps to go. Jeff Wills, Brian Barnes, Cody Matthews. Jeff Wills gets out front like he's gonna do a Northwest style restart or Northeast style restart. He checks up. Oh, he spins the tires, gets up in front of Barnes. Cody's got to check up. Everybody's got to check up. Trouble in the back. Charlie Widener head on into the fence. Man, I should have let you take that commercial break.
Anyway. So let's take a look here at the green flag real quick. He starts to jump, slows it back down, stacks up that inside line.
It's almost like he didn't go until after the restart zone.
Yeah. Brian Barnes got to check up
again. Yeah, because he can't pass the leader before the line.
See what happened here with Charlie Widener. See everybody check up in front of him. Kenyon, Weaver, Beltrami.
Everybody lock it up. Try to avoid the checkup. Caution number 11 here in North Wilkesboro. And if this is your first time tuning in here to the Western States Racing League, this is not indicative of what these guys usually have going on. This is a bit of an anomaly, but definitely throws things for a loop. Jeff Wills over Brian Barnes and Cody Matthews in the top three. Then we've got Scott Patton, Justin Michael, Mark Zabek, Ryan Steele, Heath Smith, Wayne Hutchison, and Ricky Bozer rounding out your top 10.
Single file restart is activated here as they get ready to go. Wills and Barnes are going to be on a little bit older tires. Cody Matthews still a little bit older as well. He stacks it up again as he doesn't go till after that restart zone.
It's going to get you in trouble, I think. Not with the rule book, but with the other drivers, you might find a bumper or two in your back. Here comes Barnes down to the inside. He's going to get all the way down on the apron. Here comes Patton on the outside, followed by Michael. They're 3 wide at North Wilkesboro, coming up off of 4.
I saw that forming as Wills just didn't get going here. Outside line, Patton, Michael go by.
Wills trying to fight here for second. Justin Michael up on the outside. Going to be able to get clear. Wills a little bit sideways. Allows Michael to get a car length or two away. So here comes Cody Matthews, Brian Barnes, Ryan Steele looking through the middle. Not enough room. He's got to check up. And then here comes Zabek on the bottom in the 11. Double wide here. All throughout the top 5. 13th. While that happened, Scott Patton just put down the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, first lap sub 20 for Scott Patton as he is just trying to get away from all of these drivers. Wills is going backwards in a hurry. Cody Matthews, though, hanging tough in that number 10 machine, riding P3. Ryan Steele trying to close in. Heath Smith also around.
Ryan with that pit stop, he's trying to work his way up through. He's got 20 lap fresher tires than Cody, but Cody fighting strong. We saw how that outside can really be a beneficiary, especially if can be beneficial, especially for drivers with older tires. Steele's going to be able to move on. Well, Mike, maybe now is as good a time as any.
Sounds like a plan. So with that, we'll take a quick break here. And we'll come back and wrap up the show as these guys get moving through lap 102 here of 140. We'll be right back after this.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we take the green flag after that latest caution here. Justin Michael, Scott Patton back and forth, side-by-side racing for the lead here on lap 108. Patton on the inside, Michael on the outside.
Yeah, you saw it side by side. That last caution came out for Weaver getting around, coming up off of the corner, and then another incident with Widener. But now I got to say, that's one of the best restarts on the outside that we've seen out of anybody all season. Justin Michael trying to get it done on the outside, and we know how strong that outside can be because of Ryan Steele keeping that 46 behind him on old tires. Scott Patton's going to have to get everything out of these 4 fresh Goodyears that he's got underneath him if he wants to keep that 87 side by side. And he got loose coming up off of 2. Dives it back in to keep his nose there. Justin Michael might be able to get himself clear coming up off of turn number 4. Oh man, Patton's getting loose.
Caution.
Another caution is up. Will.
Dun, dun, dun.
Turn 4.
Jeff Wills gets loose right in front of the field, and Brian Barnes barely gives him a tap as he was trying to avoid the sideways truck in the front stretch there.
You know those boom cannons that just shove out a big old puff of air?
Yeah.
Convinced there's one of those in turn 4 that's shoving these guys sideways. Justin Burns going to get his lap back. Puts him back on the lead lap. Puts Alan Bergen in the free pass position, which usually we would not be so excited about a 2-lap down car being, back up to the free pass. But with the way that these cautions are falling, he might have himself a chance to get back on the lead lap, and then Shane Jensen will start getting those free passes.
He would have been close, but he got involved in that caution when he was in the free pass position, so that kind of threw that out the window.
Yeah, I kind of got sandwiched there between the inside wall and Shane Jensen, caused some damage. Had to come in, get it looked at, get those fenders pulled out. Going to be an interesting restart here, though, with Scott Patton up on the outside, Justin Michael now on the inside. If Patton can stay to the outside of Michael like Justin did, he might have a shot to retake this lead. But I think if he can't get that restart down Patton, he's going to have a tough time getting around that 87.
Yeah, Scott Patton out there. Usually we only hear about him when Justin Michael takes the win. I believe Scott is the painter for that 87 machine.
Interesting. Well, that's more fitting to see them on the front row. Let's see, as the pace cars made that hard left turn, we're into the restart zone. Michael on the loud pedal right away. Patton spins the tires just a hair, as does the 48. There's Ricky Bozer. He's going to get away A-OK along with the rest of them so far. A little bit loose there out of Ryan Steele working the inside of Heath Smith. Caution comes out once again. This time I think it might be Earl Weaver. We're going to do it again. Oh, no.
Weaver on Weaver.
Been a tough race for Earl. Oh, poor Alan. Got
All right,
tagged in the rear end. Got himself an X throughout that incident. So by technicality, let's take a look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. That little bit of contact for the 0-4. iRacing has deemed Alan Bergen involved in the accident. He is not eligible for the free pass. That...
Wow, a little touch and that's the end of that. Wow.
That's a heartbreaker, man. Although I still got to give Alan props. It's lap 119, coming to 120. He's still in this thing on the track, not in contention, but...
Hey, top 20.
Hey, he's doing great. Justin Michael in the race lead. Scott Patton behind him, not next to him this time. Single file restart rules will apply. Everybody right up next to the wall. This is what I was talking about earlier, but now that we're at the end of this show, everybody stays up there. Green flag back in the air. Justin Michael gets away by 2 or 3. Can Scott Patton get back to him? We saw him drive away just a couple of restarts ago. Justin Michael in that Daniel Defense Toyota Tundra trying to drive away here in the last 20 laps. Not going to happen this time as the caution comes out. Cody Matthews, I think. Oh, man. It didn't look like anybody hit Allen that time. He should be able to get the free pass. But Cody Matthews coming up off of turn 4 makes head-on contact with the outside wall. Caution number 15.
Cautions for 60 laps. But we've had 7 lead changes, so it has been a relatively kind of competitive race here. And just heard Alan key up on the radio. He did get that lucky dog, so. Still plenty of laps for cautions.
Yeah, we still got time.
Biggest mover of the race is the current race leader, Justin Michael, up 18 spots. Driver back in 4th in that number 1 machine. Heath Smith up 17. Next is going to go back to P12 in that number 6, Wayne Fleet, up 12 spots.
Yeah, I want to say the caution record was somewhere around 20. I thought it was 20 at Martinsville last year.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close to that, yeah. Be 13 laps here.
To go. North Wilkesboro, green flag back in the air. Rocking and rolling here with just a couple of laps to go. Justin Michael gets a good drive away. Pat try to chase him down.
Almost 3 wide back here. Ricci, Barnes, and Bozer.
Going back and doing a little bit of research, I can confirm 20 yellows was a new league record broken at Martinsville last year. 15 so far in this one with 12 laps to go. I got to think it's tough. Tough to think we're gonna break that record.
Yeah, I don't believe that's going to happen, but heck of a lot of racing still to come here.
Heath Smith able to get around, or Ryan Steele rather, able to get around Heath Smith, and now Smith up the racetrack. Hutchison's going to get by him as well. Not sure if maybe Heath had a problem there, got a little bit sideways. He's going to get right up out of the corner of that 17 machine to try to pinch him down and get that run coming up off of the corner, and he's going to stay there. Good job there by the 1. So we've got 10 laps to go, coming to 9 to go when your leader crosses the start-finish line. Not that it's super relevant at the moment, but fastest lap of the race just went to series debutant Mark Zabek. Rocking that 11 machine, ran a 1990. Scott closing back in on the back bumper of Justin Michael. Michael a little bit loose to the center of the corner, and Scott gets a nice run coming up off.
I think Scott kind of wants his tires to come in, and now he is starting to move towards the front.
He's able to hold it down just a little bit longer than Justin Michael, and I feel like that's indicative of a good handling truck. Especially with these last couple of laps here, you're going to want everything you have in the tank to be put out there as Michael gets a little bit loose on that outside coming up off of turn number 2.
Yeah, Justin Michael's going to want to kind of fade to that outside lane as he knows that that is the fastest lane around the track, and he's been able to hold Scott Patton behind him when Patton does get that inside lane. So he's going to try and stay out there just a little bit. Gets a little loose coming down the backstretch. Patton closes in even closer here as we got 5 to go when they cross the stripe.
About car length and a half. Scott Patton trying the bottom side in 1 and 2. He's able to get his bumper to about the bumper of the 87, but that run coming up off of the corner is just too strong. Even with the wiggle out of Justin Michael, he's able to keep that power down and get a little bit more gap coming up off of the corner. 4 laps to go. Ryan Steele closing in on this battle.
Yeah, 4 laps to go, and there's only 3 people battling for the lead, and it's these top 3. They have checked out on the rest of the field, have almost a 3-second gap going back to Wayne Hutchinson back in 4th.
Scott Patton starting to get a little bit sideways here and fall into the clutches of that 19 machine. 3 laps to go across the stripe. Justin Michael looking pretty strong as Ryan Steele closes in just a little bit more on second place.
Yeah, Ryan Steele raced these guys pretty hard a few laps after they came down pit lane and had about a 20-lap difference on tires as they were working their way around, and he is trying to close in. All these guys pitted on lap 87 trying to close it out as we get closer to the white flag here down the backstretch. Justin Michael going to close in, take the white flag. 1 lap to go here from North Wilkesboro.
And Justin Michael has been strong all season. We saw him run all the way from the back to the front to chase down Jacob Jensen. A pit speeding penalty put him out of contention to win that one. Scott Patton's going to send in 1 last dive into 3 and 4, but nothing's going to stand in the way of Justin Michael in victory. He gets it done in North Wilkesboro. Scott Patton in second place and Ryan Steele with a strong 3rd. 4th will be Wayne Hutchison, followed by Heath Smith. We've got Brian Barnes, Julian Ritchie, Ricky Bozer, Jeff Wills, Mark Zabek rounds out the top 10. Good run for him. Earl Weaver, Bob Beltrami, John Kenyon, Dustin Burns, and Wayne Fleet round out the cars on the lead lap. Charlie Widener in 17th. Alan Bergen finishes a race. Congratulations, buddy. Top 20 for him in 18th. Shane Jensen 19th. The 20th was Cody Matthews. Justin Michael is going to burn it down on the front straightaway. Got Scott Heimer, William Fletcher, Keith Kelman, Barry Phil, Todd Miles, Troy Campbell, and Ray Partridge did not take the start. Justin giving the fans a smoke show here in North Wilkesboro. Yeah, it's funny to me because everyone in the crowd looks bored. Justin's gonna burn it down and blow the engine in celebration of his first win on the season. Go ahead and bring Justin in here. Justin, it's Liam and Mike up in the booth. Been a while, but you got us.
Yes, sir. Finally good to be here for a win instead of second or third.
Yes, sir. We've seen you come close. We've seen you be strong. Able to get it done here, especially in a race where Jacob Jensen didn't show up. Maximizing points, but you maximized everything on the track. First off, how does it feel to get the win here at North Wilkesboro?
Oh, it definitely feels good. So I'm not good at short tracks. There's no secret about that. But Scott is a teammate of mine. He is one of the best short track racers out there. So beating him is an accomplishment all in itself. So and he'll tell you it's like beating me at Vegas. So, but no, I don't know. The track just got cooler as the day went, and I was able to get that high side working in 1 and 2, and I think that was the advantage over everybody.
Yeah, you really had that high side working in 1 and 2. What was the difference in handling with the bottom versus the top? Because it did seem like you were able to defend. Everybody was really able to defend well on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely pinch people, but there's a little more banking up there in 1 and 2, and it can help give you a good diamond. So, but I was able to send it in, I think, a little harder than anybody else too. So I know I got on the outside of a couple guys to pass them. So I know during that couple restarts there, I was trying to go 3 wide on the outside, and it almost didn't work out. We almost all wrecked.
Now, we wouldn't be broadcast journalism if we didn't bring up how dirty your front bumper got a little bit earlier in the show. I know it wasn't necessarily your fault, but man, it seemed like that thing had a magnet to it.
Oh, it did. I don't know what was up, but a couple people were just in the middle of the turn. They just stopped. I don't know. I don't know whether they were hitting the brakes or what, but I mean, I don't know what else to do. So it is what it is. But yeah, I think that one wreck, it was just a big stack up, and I got into somebody. That's the only one wreck I got damage in. But no, everything else, I don't understand why people would just stop right in front of me. But it is what it is.
Well, you overcame that. You overcame passing your teammate, who is phenomenal at short track racing. Before we let you go, who do you want to thank for such a strong run here? And what do you got for us next week?
Where is next week?
Daytona.
Pretty sure it's Daytona.
Okay, we'll see. We got a good group of guys at super speedways, so we'll see what happens. But thank Bob for putting on the leg as always. It's really fun to show up here when I can. I just wish it wasn't so late, but that's my fault for being on the East Coast. But you guys calling a great race as always, so we'll go back and watch that later. And all the Bandit guys out there, and Scott for being a good teammate, and all the Highline guys too. We usually race with them on Tuesdays, and then sometimes on Fridays too. So hopefully it was a good show. I know it was a little too many cautions, but we'll do better next week.
Awesome stuff, Justin. Congratulations on the win, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you plenty more this season.
Thanks, guys.
All right, now we've got Scott Patton up in the booth with Mike.
Hey, Scott, man, how's it going?
What's going on? Good.
Well, that was a heck of a race. Looked like you kind of had something figured out there, working that outside lane for the most part. Led the majority of the laps until you decided to come down and pit on that lap 38 caution. How was it working your way back through the field?
I I don't know. I was surprised at how many trucks stayed out, I guess. So I was a little bit frustrated at that because it was my first time back in traffic. But I just kind of told myself to have the same patience, just kind of roll the bottom and let the tires come in and do their job. So kind of worked out. I think a couple people had incidents in front of us too, picked up a couple easy spots. Then we got to that 19 truck and he put up quite a run up there. So yeah, overall it was fun getting around him. And of course, Justin Michael is just a pain in the butt no matter which track he's at. So, but it's always great with racing with him.
Yeah, every time we talk to him, he says that he's not any good at a short track, but he showed up here and was able to bring a victory. I know usually he believe he thanks you because Patton and Payne's correct. So
Yep, that's right. Yeah, painting trucks and cars and everything in between.
So definitely good seeing you two guys show up here and have some good luck. Are you gonna try and join us again next week when we head to Daytona?
Yeah, I think I will. I just realized my work schedule and stuff changed, so I think, especially with as late as these races start here on the East Coast, I think I can hopefully participate in a few more. So yeah, I'll give you guys the code. The code, the Justin Michael code, is anytime he says he's terrible at something, or he might say, "Hey, nice win," like 50% of the way through the race. It's all code for I'm actually going to win this race. So there you go. You got the cheat code. Anytime he says he's terrible at somewhere, he's going to win.
Yeah, it seems like that. He's won quite a few races here, but good to see you here, and we'll see what you guys can do next week at Daytona. But before we get you out of here, anybody you want to thank?
Certainly the guys, the teammates here at Highline and Bandit Motorsports too. It's always fun racing with these guys week in and week out, training paint with these guys. And just Stone River Outfitters on the truck and New England Racing Museum. If you're ever up in the New Hampshire Motor Speedway area, the museum is right on the property of New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It's Dr. Dick Bergeron's project up here to save the history of racing in the Northeast. So check him out. If you catch him on the weekends in the summer, good chance Dr. Dick Bergeron will be there himself. So
before we let you go, Scott, you're talking about Northeast. I got to ask, because we brought it up earlier on one of the restarts. What is it called when one car is in front of the two rows behind him on a restart?
When one car's in front?
Yeah, like the leader gets to be in front and everybody else is double file.
Oh, I don't know.
Ah, man. I thought that was a Northeast thing. My bad. I'll jump back out.
I don't know. You got me. I lived here my whole life, but you got me.
Now we'll figure that one out. But congrats on P2 here, and we'll see what you guys can do next week at Daytona.
Appreciate it, Mike, Liam, all you guys on the broadcast. Looking forward to watching this. I don't know, when I have a couple hours to spare. And appreciate all you guys' work for sure up there.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks. See you guys.
All right, Mike, I have done my research. It is a Delaware double file restart. That's what they call it.
Ah.
Good to know.
Well, there you go.
Now we got Ryan Steele, third place finisher, up in the booth with us. Ryan, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Man,
glad to have sorry, I was just glad to have a good race on a track that I technically haven't driven on before because I'd not driven this repay version.
I was just getting ready to say you had a really good race here. You started in fourth. You stayed up front for most of it. You had a really good battle there with Scott Patton, keeping him behind you when you were on older tires. How did the track feel out there for you? You said you haven't been on this configuration before, so what was it like adapting to the new configuration versus what you already knew?
Well, honestly, I think I kind of reverted to how I drove the old track. Just didn't give myself enough time. I probably had like 20 minutes of practice, and I started in practice looking like I was pretty slow, and then I just went, oh, I'll just keep the car low and try not to wear out the tires too much, and we'll see what we get. And then apparently in the race, that was fast. Yeah, it helped that I qualified up there, so I didn't have to pass a whole lot, because apparently passing is pretty difficult. But it seems like running outside lines might actually be faster if I could just figure out what line I was supposed to take on entry. Like I was trying to match the guys in front of me to a little bit of a degree, but I mostly just kept on reverting to hold the bottom, which is not the way I like to go, but it seemed to be the best way for me during this race.
Well, things definitely seem to work out in your favor. That caution came out at almost a perfect time where you were able to come back in and pit with the leaders. What type of relief was that for you, and how did that change your mentality moving forward?
Nah, I was pissed. I wanted them to stay out. I wanted to be the only one with new tires because I spent the first half of the race being the only one on old tires. I wanted it to be my turn. So I didn't really want to be on the same tire strategy as them because I just felt like I would probably just get beat. I was just a little bit too slow to keep up with the top two. So I was hoping for that they would stay out for track position and then I'd be able to try to attack. But, I got what I thought I could get out of this. Third place is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal run, especially with 20 minutes of practice on a new configuration to you. Who do you want to shout out and who do you want to thank for such a strong run here today at North Wilkesboro?
Well, I've always got to thank the Dog Bear guys for helping prepare. Given that I'm the lazy one who shows up late. I mean, usually I'm coming home from work, but still, whatever. We'll call it lazy. And doesn't get in the server, and while everyone else has been here for almost 2 hours, and they pass on what they know to me. So it's always good to help get up to speed. And I got to thank you guys for covering the series. But one more thing, I heard you ask Justin about the next race, which I think you said was at Daytona.
Yes, it's Daytona. What you got?
So what's going to happen? I'm going to roll my RNG here, and okay, I'm going to finish 9th. That's basically what I think about Daytona. It's just rolling RNG.
A random number. Yeah, that's
Yep. May as well just do that. And then also, I think the restart thing you're talking about, I can't remember if it's New Jersey restart or if it's Delaware restart,
Yeah,
but I think it's one of those two.
Did look it up in between the interviews. It's a Delaware double file restart.
Yeah, Delaware double file. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I thought I'd heard of that before. I think my local track around here does that.
Well, awesome, Ryan. I appreciate you jumping in or letting us know that too. Glad to know
Okay.
you're listening along, and yeah, well, we'll hold you to that 9th at Daytona. But if you get up in the top 3, we'll be talking to you anyways.
Righto. See you next time, guys. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Another phenomenal Western States Racing League race in the books here. A little high on the caution flags, but that's going to happen, man. I mean, I remember a NASCAR Cup race at Charlotte where they had 22 yellows, and those guys are the best stock car racers in the world. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, it just happens. And once you start kind of getting those, especially early, you'll get 3 or 4 right in a row, and then after that, it'll kind of settle down a little bit. I mean, we did have a lot of green flag racing, and the green flag racing, we had a lot of side-by-side action here tonight. So it just shows what they can do once they kind of get the cautions put behind them.
Yeah, it always seems to trend one way, though, when you see a couple of single car incidents from the same kind of stemming from the same issue early on. And so, well, it's part of it, man. This is a treacherous racetrack, and you got to be perfect if you want to win, especially in this group.
Yeah, so we go from short track racing to super speedway, so we'll see what these guys can do at Daytona. But with that, I'll let you wrap up the show, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, Daytona's going to be fun. They'll be a little bit more aggressive with the bumper, and they'll be more acceptable. But before we let you guys go here, just want to give a quote Cletus and say, do it for Dale and be like Biff, and quote our good friend Tony. As you guys walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Have a good night, folks.